Hello and welcome back to Dangerous Skills for a Living, and my guest today is Eric Suarez with Meprolite USA. And now, what's your title there?
I'm the Director of Marketing for Meprolite.
Of Marketing. Well, I want to tell you, I am a huge fan, and on my previous everyday carries, the only optics that I was pimping on were 100% Meprolite, and I love it. And this is, of course, my personal Brugger and Temet, and it comes with the Meprolite M22. And it's like I heard a young man say recently, this is an optic you can take right into the end of the world. I mean, whatever happens, this will go with you.
Absolutely. It's a battery-free reflex optic, so no batteries. The dye runs off tritium and fiber.
How long is that tritium good for?
So in that, you're looking at 10 years tritium warranty for the M22.
Some people don't even keep a good wife that long. They should.
I'm not touching that.
They should. They should. That's just a terrible thing. You guys should do better than you're doing. Keep your good optic and your good wife. It's in the Bible. Look it up. All right. Now, the thing I want to talk about today is a lot of guys, they're iron sight guys. You know, I'm not talking about Navy SEALs or Tier 1 operators. I'm talking about everyday guys. They go to the range, they practice, and they carry a firearm to work, to the mall, to church. But, you know, how well are they outfitted? And I personally am a big believer. I carry the Glock 43X, and I believe that any firearm in that class or size, I mean, I've known guys that took their little small 380 and slipped it in their pocket. Not going to do much good. Very dangerous. Don't ever do that. But I'm a big believer in this, and this is what we have. Tell us about the firearms we have here.
Yeah, so we have a decent cross-section of slimline pistols. So slimline pistols, they have been getting better and better. Back in, I won't say too far distant past, slimline guns were very small, tiny, they did not fit in hands. You had very reduced magazine capacities. And the new class of the Glock 48, 43X, here we have the Shadow Systems CR920, CR920 XP, Masada Slims. They're, you name the brand. For me, the most important thing is that the handgun fits the shooter's hand, and it has to be comfortable to them, or you're never going to shoot it, you're not going to practice it, you're not going to become proficient.
Now, all these firearms are safe, have been proven safe, and have been made safe by a safe individual. For me, if a firearm does not reach me in this area, if the grip cannot get me there, it doesn't work for me. A lot of makers will make a firearm with a grip that's a lot shorter, and that just won't work for me.
Yeah, so I am the same way. I like my full-size guns for range and for if I need the full-size gun. Other than that, my everyday carry is a Glock 43X with a compensator. Magazine capacity has been fixed by brands like Shadow Systems, like brands like Shield Arms.
Yes.
Even Palmetto State just released their micro daggers with 15 round capacity. So my personal Glock 43X, if I go pull it out of my bag right now, has a 15 plus 5. I can carry 20 rounds.
15 plus 5?
15 plus 5. So
I have to show me about that before you leave.
20 round capacity. The flush fit mags here are 15 round capacities.
Yes.
So your Glock 19s carry 15 rounds. Now you can go much smaller, which fits in your hand, control it better with the same magazine capacity. I'm fully with you. I've never been a fan personally of the Glock 26, Glock 27. They did come up to here on me, just like yours.
Yes.
And then you can run the magazine extensions. What people don't understand, though, is when, I'm a lefty, but I'll hold this as a righty here. If the gun ends here and your magazine extensions come down and it splits between usually your first two fingers, that seam falls in the meaty part of your hand, and under recoil, it wants to pinch you.
It will, and I'll tell you the problem I had with the 26 is that because of the way my hand is made and the way the firearm is made, it would sort of limp wrist and I would get stovepipes. And it was not the fire, it was just, it did not fit
the way it interacted with your hand.
Massively, the firearm you carry, the firearm you handle, the firearm you fire must fit your hand. It must fit you. So what I wanted to talk about today with these slimline pistols are red dot sights, or MOS. Now, what does MOS stand for?
MOS is going to be your modular optical system.
And those are three really big words that take us all the way back to where I started. It's the ability for you to have some sort of red dot or reticle inside some sort of plane that helps you aim.
Yep, effectively, I sometimes like to keep it really simple. is how is the slide cut so you can install your optic. So with our slimline guns, it's a lot simpler to choose an optic.
Okay.
There are very few slimline cuts.
RMSC?
RMSC is the shield footprint, otherwise known as the J-point footprint.
Okay.
That is the industry standard, thank goodness, on slim guns. We talk full-size guns, there's about 8. That's why we aren't going to touch that.
Let's just stay slim.
We'll stay slimline. So RMSC is what the footprint is called. So if you see a competitor's, doesn't matter if Triticon or SIG or whoever, and then our Meprolite MPOs, you're looking for an RMSC footprint.
Yes.
Which means that footprint will fit the screw holes that have already been drilled and tapped into your slide.
Right.
It also simplifies it. On full-size guns, you typically have to run a plate to interact the optic to the plate to the slide. You do not need to do that on the slimline guns because the footprint is direct fit, so there is no plate system. So what does the no plate system give you? When you don't have to run a plate, you can now install your optic lower into the slide, which then gets your height over bore, which means your reticle dot in parallel to what your bore or your barrel is.
Yes.
So you don't have so much of an offset as if you zero it at 15 yards, your point of aim, point of impact, point of aim where you're aiming it, and where your bullet impacts is your point of impact are the same. When you get closer than, say, usually 15 yards is where I'm zeroing red dots. If you're at 5 yards, the bullet is still trying to go up and over because it's angular, it's not straight.
Right.
So at 5 yards, because your optic is lower, you have to hold over less.
Over less.
Makes it simpler. So the other thing it does is here we have a Shadow System CR920 XP. We're running standard iron sights.
Right.
And it gives us the ability to co-witness
yes.
through the DS optic all the way through. So what that does is in the event your optic, it is electrical, things happen in life, probably when you don't need it to happen.
That's usually when things go
so,
wrong.
When Murphy says, "Hey, it's my turn to make a decision and insert myself here," you still have your backup sights, and they work just like your standard irons. So, red dots. I did not grow up on red dots. I grew up on iron sights.
Right.
Because I work here, have transitioned to red dots across the board. And I'm not going to say we do have all 3 of our versions here. This is the lowest cost with the medium and the top end with being the enclosed.
Yes.
But my still go-to, again, if I go pull it out of my bag, I'm running a Mepro DS. So some of the things I personally look for in my optic is that I want something very simple and clear and clean. So the DS has no external buttons. I can't, inside my pants, bump it, make it go brighter, make it go dim, turn it off, whatever the case may be. And it is a full-time shake awake.
It also seems a bit melted, and melted is all the rough edges are off, not a lot of straight edges.
Yes, very streamlined, very smoothed out, if you will. Like a good concealed carry gun, not a lot of hard edges anymore. Everyone's chamfering their guns all the way around. Even on this Arc Division upper, our edges are rounded so it doesn't snag, because a lot of people will train at the range just, hey, I'm here, I'm out, I shoot. I'm back, I'm out, I shoot. When you're concealed carrying, especially here, we're in Georgia, you're wearing clothes in the wintertime.
Yes.
But it's very sweaty, humid in the summertime.
Yes.
You have to get around your clothes. You have to, there's an entire technique that is around that. So I prefer having something that is smoothed out, like you had mentioned, simply so it doesn't snag, because if it can, it will.
Well, now, I think we might have piqued a few people's interest on possibly taking steps to try and get one of these optics on their firearm. Now, the Meprolite optic is called the MPO.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the uniqueness of your optic. Then I want to talk about reticles.
Okay, so our MPO line, our Mepro pistol optic line, includes 6. You have the 3 here for the slims. We have 3 more for the fulls that follow this exact pattern, so we don't need to go over those. So we start with the DS. The DS means is the dot sight. It is a 1 reticle system, just a single 3.5 MOA dot. It is rounded. It has no buttons. You can adjust the elevation and the windage on the side. Everything's nice and tucked in.
That one's an open emitter.
And this one happens to be an open emitter. So I know once we get through, you'll probably have a question, open versus closed, because I'm going to show you two options.
I'm going to ask that question.
So, and then price point wise, this DS should be around $169, $179. So very economical price point, but you're not giving up on the features and benefits that you need.
I must interject. There is a person in my life who watches this podcast, who knows me, who lives in the same town I live in. Sir, you're a cheapskate, and you need to buy this optic. You have no excuse now. Carry on.
So next is our MPO-S. The MPO-S is MPO Slimline. So this one actually features 3 different reticles within. We can get to the reticles here in a minute,
Sure.
but it features 3 reticles, manual and automatic brightness control. It does have shake awake, so
Yes.
it'll go take a nap when you don't touch it after 30 minutes. As soon as you pick it up, it'll turn it back on. And then you have your elevation and windage adjustments as well. This one looks a little bit more robust. It's a little bit different glass design, super clear, and is also an open emitter. And when we talk about open versus closed emitter, so these two are opens, it means that your emitter is actually shining from the back against the glass, and it is truly open.
And that is the exact product that I carry on my Glock 43X every day.
Yeah, it's great. It's small. This one, as you can tell, does hang over just a little bit more than a DS. But then there's some other benefits. This one does not have manual or automatic brightness. This one does.
And the reticles.
Yep, this one has 3 reticles. This one has 1. This one is a side-fed side-fed battery tray.
Which is actually a really big deal.
So it is a big deal. This one fits, it has an undermounted battery.
Right.
So in order to change it, you need to take it off. Now, some people say, oh my God, I'll lose my zero. When we're talking about batteries, I just had my first battery die at 14 and a half months. So that's what I got life-wise. For me, I'm shooting usually every January, every July. I'm doing 2 things. One, because I also live in the Southeast with humidity and stuff, I'm switching out my carry ammo so I don't get swelling and things with the powder.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing that, I also change my battery. The only reason why I did not do it on my personal one, because I wanted to see, since I work here and I get questions, I want to know how long it goes. So 14 months of daily use, in and out of vehicles, in and off my body. Hard use. So you are.
I don't have a clue, but I'm just going to declare that some sort of record. It must be for Alabama. That's a record.
It's good, and I have no problem. So if I'm changing my battery twice a year when I'm shooting or testing my new ammo, it's no difference to me. So I was very happy with the battery life for the use I put through it. But the benefit of the bottom fed is that you'll notice between the two, this one's just lower.
It is.
Because it doesn't need to build the space for the battery here. It's
Right.
already built in underneath the optic.
Right. I love it. Okay, now we're going to move on to the closed emitter, the Pro
S.
The Pro S.
So the Pro for us at Meprolite means enclosed emitter system, whether it is a M22 Pro, MCO Pro, or anything like that. So closed emitter systems really are for the hardest used individuals. Law enforcement, police departments, military units, they prefer the enclosed emitter. Why? Because now, like we had mentioned before, the projection screen is behind glass and you have glass here. So rain, blood, food particles,
Yes.
sweat, lint,
Yes.
cannot.
This closed emitter system will protect you from dirt, dander, dust, and if you have a quilt because you haven't cleaned it recently, but we won't tell that story today.
It was a couple years ago. We fixed our ways.
We
all
took
good.
care of it. You know, I take responsibility for that. Anyway.
So very similar to the S, the MPO-S. This is going to feature 10 brightness settings, 2 night vision settings, manual and automatic brightness control, 3 different reticle systems, and in an enclosed emitter. So when we talk closed emitters, it's really just wiping your lenses off. If you do shoot a lot of our test optics, you will see a bunch of carbon buildup. You got to clean that off.
But you can clean it off. It's a robust product.
Absolutely. So, and it's a lot less care. Now, the downside of it is bigger. If you want backup sights to completely co-witness, your sights need to be taller.
Yes.
And because enclosed emitters...
And you can get those from Meprolite.
You can. So we just launched actually these two. These 2 guns right here have our new backup sights that were dedicated and purposely built for backup sights on pistols, similar to your backup sights on your BMT over here.
Awesome.
So there's another whole thought process on backup sites and seeing multiple things in colors. But on the Pro S, because it is a cross bolt system, because the screws need it, if you were going to do it low like this, the screws would actually be underneath the glass.
Okay.
You have to run a plate. So you run the plate and then you screw your Pro S over there. So you're giving up some size, you're giving up some weight, you're giving up a little bit, but you're gaining the ability to have a closed emitter system that I will not say is more durable, because open emitters have been around for a long time, but it's an extra peace of mind and just operates a little differently.
You are dangling very close to a choice between the closed and the open emitter. So I'm going to let you go ahead and address that issue. Let's just get it all out on the table.
Yeah, so I just mentioned closed emitter, going to be a little bit more pricey. It's going to be heavier. It's going to sit a little taller, so you're not going to have those super clean edges like you do on some of the others. But you are protecting your LED. So if you do live here in the Southeast, just like I do, sweat, humidity, things like that, you can just literally wipe it off with a T-shirt and you're good to go. So there's a lot, I would say, less maintenance with a enclosed system, where the open system, and I've already told you guys, my daily carry is a DS on 2 different firearms. It is lighter, it fits lower, it allows me to co-witness with my sights better. It is more rounded and less bulky, like we had talked about, but it takes a little bit more effort to ensure before I go out, I check my LED to make sure, hey, I have no issues going on. If I operate it in the rain, or because I'm carrying it in the summertime over in Alabama, I will pull it out, and it takes a little bit more maintenance to ensure that my LED is clean, free and clear. And it's pretty easy to tell. Rain isn't such a big deal, because usually concealed carrying, it's under shirts and stuff, so raindrops technically aren't hitting it and stuff. But I just take it out, and before I put it on my nightstand, I just usually look at it, and if my reticle is super starburst, then I know I probably need to clean my LED.
My wife has accused me on a number of occasions of touching my Glock 19X with too much love.
Well,
if loving that Glock 19X is wrong, I don't want to go back. Well, look, I've got another question for you.
Okay.
So talk to me about the reticle. Now, in your company, we have different reticles, and we have people that use terms, and I'm not saying you are, but people use terms like circle dot or whatever. What term do you folks use for something like that?
So we either call it a bullseye. In the pistols, we're calling it a bullseye reticle. In the rifles and some of the other ones we have behind us, we call them speed rings.
Okay.
So the thought process is your eye will catch the outer ring typically first, and then once you have the outer ring, you focus dead center where is your dot should be. A huge technical issue we see a lot with pistol shooters, especially if you come from irons to red dots, is you hear people say, I can't see my dot. Yes. So there's a couple of reasons for that. One, certain optics or certain brand of optics will not be good for you. I will be transparent, because we're not doing a Meprolite thing, we're doing dangerous skills for you. So I have been issued Trijicon RMRs. It's probably me, it's the way I dress it, it's the way I handle the firearm. I struggle seeing the dot.
Yes.
But then as we went on, and now we have our own Mepro MPO lines, I can see the dot much clearer. I've also learned that when we're taught to shoot iron sights, especially probably anybody 30 years or older, you have been taught to, you index in the center, and as you present, you focus on front sight, front sight, front sight, as you press, press, press.
Right.
When you're shooting a red dot, you cannot do that. You should be looking at your target and understand that your draw stroke will then bring your reticle to your eye, and the reticle will just appear. I struggled with that for a very long time.
Well, people also have to train.
100%.
And when you make your firearm safe, and your firearm must be safe, and people do it different ways. And I even know our Israeli friends actually kind of pioneered the use of what people often call red sticks, which is a way of putting a stick inside the action, comes out the barrel, it's safe. But a lot of people will actually, when they're getting used to this type of product, they'll literally practice, I don't know, not like sitting on a couch, you're not aiming at the television or whatever, but you're in some very safe place and you're literally practicing the technique you just talked about.
Yeah, so this might be calling myself out. Jordan's our digital marketing manager. Well, obviously we talk to each other every day because we work remote, but I will dry fire in my house probably 50 to 100 times a day. So my gun is there. I obviously make sure it's safe. Nobody else is home when I'm there. And I will, sitting at my desk, just practice drawing, and trying to bring my arm straight out, see the complete reticle picture, squeeze one round. There's training things out there like Mantis firearm systems that you can put in there. There's laser lights that you can put in there. Dry firing, especially if you're trying to transition from red dots or to red dots from irons, is a huge deal.
Hey, wait a minute. For all those of you who are now going to go to the comments section and say something terrible about dry firing, why don't you just go switch over right now to that Navy SEAL podcast, and we'll thank you for doing that.
So you got to practice. I have been one. I like I told you, had been issued red dots on pistols before I retired. I am now, probably in the last 18 months or so, fully transitioned to red dots, and I still enjoy shooting irons. So it's not something that I just picked up very fast. My 11-year-old can shoot a pistol red dot like it's nobody's business. And
he didn't have bad habits.
Exactly. So he has just understood the video game aspect does play into an ocular focus of understanding what you're supposed to see. He can shoot a pistol red dot better than most adults, only because, like you said, he doesn't know anything different. He wasn't shown, hey, front sight, front sight, front sight, press, press, press.
Yes.
He just was like, oh, I understand what I'm looking at. I understand how to make it work.
Right.
And he has good trigger control.
And also, if you look through it, it kind of does look like a screen, you know. So a kid's
100%.
All right, couple of things, then we'll call it good.
Yep.
First off, what I love about this is I've already talked about my great love for this product, especially on like a Brugger Intimate, and this is fully taxed and licensed and paid for. But when I look through this, and when I'm up and I look through this optic and I see this bullseye, this speed ring, what have you, I'm used to that. This is kind of the rifle platform. It's what we're used to seeing going back many years. When I'm in a world where suddenly I have a handgun and I am actually seeing that same circle dot, well, you know, in this, I'm actually seeing basically the same reticle. And to me, training gets better. Your eye, your hand, your whole continuity of combat, as it were.
Yeah, it is. The reticle situation is as personal as how the handgun fits in your hand, to be quite honest. I mentioned Jordan. Jordan prefers dots. I don't personally care if it's a dot or a bullseye. I tend to like bullseyes better. I use a full-size pistol dot on my turkey shotgun, and I use just the outer ring because I'm able to use the outer ring and I have a pattern. So whatever works for you, go at that. Now, one of the benefits of using the bullseye is that if you need a more precision shot, I prefer the bullseye because there's 2 breaks in the line, and it allows you to horizontally center yourself. So if it is canted one way or the other, it allows you to kind of build that straight line in your mind, where if you just see a dot with nothing else, that doesn't exist. So especially on a rifle side, you're trying to take a 300-yard shot with a 50-yard zero, and if you're completely canted over, you might shoot past or to the left or right, whatever it is, because of the cant. Obviously, bullets aren't lasers, they are angles. Whereas, especially on the M22, if you have the break in the lines, I can now center myself horizontally, almost like I'm not going to say like a pilot, but similar to the compass in a plane or a helicopter. And then I'm able to zero myself horizontally before I crack that shot off. So it is very personal. Everything about this is personal. If you like enclosed systems, you're going to pay more. If you like the simplicity of not touching any buttons, that's actually the lower end of the price point, and then the S is in the middle. So it's 1,000% of what you like and what works for you.
Well, I think Meprolite's done a really good job of kind of thinking ahead. A lot of people just start developing these things without much thought about the experience, the price point, the way people want to interact with it. But I think you folks have done a great job with that. Now, lastly, if there ever comes a time that you ever have to draw your concealed carry firearm, in this case where we have slimlines here, how much have you practiced? How much have you prepared for that moment? How much have you dry fired? How many times have you presented your firearm and seen that sight picture and thought about it? If as the world is turning right now, we are in a situation where we've never been closer to the next 9/11. And when day X comes, whenever it is, however it is, it'll come more to the homeland, more to small town America, outside the Beltway than ever before. And when that day comes, if you are in church, if you are in a grocery store, if you're at the mall, I don't even know if malls still exist, but if you're out shopping, I do know that other people will be there. It'll be frantic, and having the right sight system could be the difference between life and death or shooting an innocent person. Tell us just a little bit about, just as we're getting ready to end this, about someone committing to the training, to an optic system, and preparing for a day like Day X.
Yeah, you did a really good job explaining the training aspect. My entire adult life has been around guns. I went to military when I was 17, retired in 2016, and been in the firearms industry ever since. We just had a gentleman from IWI here who runs their training facility. It is about training. No matter how much experience you have, there's always something new, different that you can learn from.
Yes.
So it could be something small. The other thing is, just because you may have a full size, just say Glock 19 or 17 by your bed, if your carry gun is a 43X, you should be training with both. Simply because every trigger reset is different. Every grip is different. The ability to index it from your holster. And I would suggest, try getting outside a waistband holster if you've never drawn, and then do that. Why? Because you don't have clothes and other things in your way. Then graduate to inside the waistband are you going to carry small the back, which I don't really prefer, and if you drive, it's terrible.
Yes.
Appendix is great if you're going to walk around. I do carry appendix if I know I'm going to be walking around all day.
I'm too self-conscious to carry appendix.
So I don't drive with it in appendix, because I'm a little skeptical about what's going on. Even though I know, hey, Murphy has a say, and I will pull it out. And then vehicle interactions are much different anyway. I prefer my gun in a holster by the door or something as a lefty, so I can maneuver myself. But and I don't want to deal with a seatbelt close and a pistol draw all at the same time in a vehicle situation. But you can graduate to that. Is it appendix? Is it hip? Is it small the back? Wherever is it in a fanny pack? I do have a funny story. My father's a corrections officer. Back in the early 90s, they just got Glock 23s. Fanny packs, it's hilarious because fanny packs were popular then. They went away for decades, and now they're back for gun carry.
Guilty as charged.
So,
you know how old I am? I was on the leading edge of fanny packs, and then they died, and I'm on the leading edge of bringing them back.
Bringing them back.
Yeah, Everly stock. Go ahead and get one.
He had one. It was Velcro. You pulled it out. You grabbed the gun out. No big deal. I remember the first day he tried that in the house. He flipped it over, and as he flipped it over, the whole gun and holster, boom, right across the kitchen floor he went. And I remember clear as day, my brother, who's younger than me, and I stood there and be like, how is that going to work in real life? But it brings to a point. Understand your gear. Understand maybe it wasn't secured appropriately. Maybe it wasn't a good brand at the time.
Right.
The Everly stock ones, the 511 ones, there are much better brands now.
Much better.
But you have to practice with what you're going to carry. Guns are a very small portion, and if you have to draw your firearm, you're probably already way past the situation.
Yes.
My goal is to get my family and loved ones off the X or out of the area before I handle anything. Mm-hmm. It's not my job as a citizen. My job is security of my family first. Right. But if you're carrying this, you should also have other means. Is it a knife? Is there escalation of force techniques or measures you can take? A lot of it is being situationally aware of your surroundings. Be a hard target, not a soft target. If you're a hard target, 99.5% chance that no one is going to mess with you if your head's on a swivel and you are looking people in the eye. Medical is another aspect that I don't want to say no one covers, but it is as important to carry medical as it is this.
Yes.
People get in car accidents, people cut their fingers, people do crazy things, and you're more apt to use some gauze or an Israeli bandage style compression bandage or a tourniquet before you would actually draw this. So it's really about talking about your defense in depth and understanding what your limitations are and what your roles and responsibilities are.
Absolutely. Well, that is today's Dangerous Skills for Living. Thank you so much, Eric Suarez.
I appreciate you having me.
And we'll do this again sometime. But thanks. You need to check this out. You need to get involved. You need to up your game. You need to be ready for what's coming, because I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming. We'll see you next time.